What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. A couple other guys I want to shout out in the big picture. I just thought Austin Reaves was incredible. I've talked a ton over the last couple years about how I just trust Austin Reaves in really important games. He just, I don't know if it's the expression, it's like he's a gamer. That's literally what it is for Austin. Like if it's a really big, really important game, I just count on Austin Reaves to be the best version of himself. I thought his dribble penetration was key last night. He was just constantly attacking, getting downhill, a lot of like pace, meaning like instead of dribbling the ball up the floor slowly and then statically staring at a defender and then trying to drive past him, which is going to be the hardest time to drive past a good defender, especially a good defender like a Derek White or a Drew Holiday, right? Excuse me. That's the hardest time to do it. But if you're going up with pace, meaning like, let's say you get a defensive rebound, you throw it up to Austin dribbles up the floor, and then with like he's already got a head of steam, he's coming at you at full speed, and then it's in and out crossover, like while he's coming at you full speed, that's so much harder to contain. That's so much harder to keep in front, right? And like he was just all night, like made basket, missed basket, it didn't matter. Austin was coming at the Celtics with a head of steam and getting into the paint. I actually thought he generated some catch and shoot looks that didn't go down either. Like I thought Austin played a great game, didn't turn the ball over, competed defensively. Just a really, really solid game. Gabe Vincent defended well all night. There was an early fourth quarter stretch where Peyton Pritchard kept trying to bully him and he just stood him up and got stops. He hit 4 threes. Gabe Vincent, by the way, in his last 16 games is shooting 41% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. But I want to just before we're done with the Lakers, I just want to shout out LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I've been really critical of them this year for inconsistent engagement, and I've blamed them in a lot of ways for this lopsided season that they've had. And I do believe that their lack of engagement has been a problem for this Lakers team in terms of their kind of uneven performance throughout this season. But I just thought they were absolutely fantastic on both ends of the floor last night. I thought they were the two best players last night. And again, I know Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were gassed. And again, I set them aside for a minute. We're talking about the Lakers. I'm just saying in that particular game, LeBron James and Anthony Davis were better. They were truly physically dominant on both ends of the floor in a way that they have often looked when they get to the postseason. That's why it's so hard to quit these guys. You have a 6'9", 260-pound monster power forward and a 6'11", 260-pound monster center with a 7'6" wingspan that can play power forward. They both can run and jump with the best in the league, and they're elite defensive players when they want to be. And they both thrive offensively as the physicality and the intensity go up. Which brings me to my final point. We talked about ways to restore belief, to grow belief in your big picture goals. A signature win or an influx of talent. If you're Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss, it's time to shit or get off the pot. Jovan Buha on our show last week reported that he thinks it's more likely that the Lakers do a smaller deal. I literally do not see the point in that. LeBron's 40 years old. And this team does have championship upside, but only with a legit talent upgrade. And you're not getting a legit talent upgrade by making a smaller deal on the margins. You need to include first-round draft compensation. And if you don't think LeBron James and Anthony Davis can do it, which I think would be fucking insane after what we saw last night, then blow the damn team up. Like, if you don't think they can do it, trade the guys. But a smaller move accomplishes nothing. Either be about it or don't be about it. No more sitting around and watching the greatest basketball player of all time and another top 10 player in this league try to fight through what you guys know damn well is not a championship roster. Frankly, if you, Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss, are not going to compete alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, then you need to send them to a team that will compete with them. And so at that point, LeBron and AD sent a clear message last night. We can still go. We can still go with the best guys. but they need horses. And you've got 2 first-round picks. How are we going to look back at the LeBron era with the Lakers? How are we going to look back when it's 5 years from now and the Lakers are mid-rebuild, but they have 2 extra first-round picks instead of the 7 or whatever they could get by taking on bad salary and trading role players for draft compensation? They could easily recoup all this stuff down the line. You know what happens when you trade for good players? They're good players. So when you trade for good players, then suddenly you don't need the good players anymore. You get to trade the good players. And when you get to trade the good players, you get picks back. Put the picks on the table. Do everything in your power to give these guys what they need to fight, or be done with this. Be done with it. Trade them. But LeBron and AD want it, as frustrating as their commitment has been this year. So either meet them at that level or don't. On the Celtics front, I don't think there's much to get in here. Ironically, as I talked about, this is their first 20-point loss of the season and only their second in the Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis era. Guess what their last 20-point loss was? January last year, a 30-plus point blowout loss in Milwaukee. Also a 5th game in 7 nights. Also the tail end of a back-to-back. Also an overtime game the night before. Most of this was just fatigue, guys. Not too much to get into there. I talked about settling the other day. Settling is about conserving energy. And settling to me is just like, I have a mismatch, but instead of attacking it with physicality, I'm going to take a jump shot. There was a lot of settling last night, but a good amount of that is almost to be expected under the circumstances. And again, something we've seen before as recently as last year. But I do think Boston has been in a little bit of a funk with their offensive process. This isn't just a last night thing. This is something I've been talking about for a while. When they've been losing as of late, it's been their offense that's been the problem almost every time. Still a lot of bad process. The entire opening sequence of this game was Jaylen Brown trying to ISO Anthony Davis straight up. That's just stupid. He hit a couple of threes, so it ended up being reasonably efficient, but that's not good process. Still a ton of settling. That really is the main issue that I'm seeing. If you ask me to pinpoint one specific issue with the Celtics right now, they're trying to beat mismatches too often with jump shots instead of physical aggression. When you're physically aggressive against a mismatch, you get easy twos. When you get easy twos, it becomes untenable for the defense. When it becomes untenable for the defense, they start to send extra bodies. When they start to send extra bodies, that's when you get your wide open catch and shoot threes. It happens in that order. If you attack mismatches by settling, you get tougher twos. If you get tougher twos, you don't hit enough of them. If you don't hit enough of them, the defense doesn't view it as untenable. If the defense doesn't view it as untenable, they're going to let you keep attacking like that. If they let you keep attacking like that, you'll continue to hit inefficient twos, and you won't keep your team in rhythm with catch and shoot jump shots and the ball popping around. It's an order of operations for Boston. And again, I'm not judging last night because I think it's about fatigue. But I talked about that 16 catch and shoot wide open, 16 unguarded catch and shoot jump shots that the Celtics attempt every game that ranks 3rd in the NBA. Last night was the 5th consecutive game where they did not reach 16 unguarded catch and shoots. 6 games in a row. Or 5 games. 5 games in a row. That's a troubling trend in terms of just their overall offensive approach. That's the thing that they got to fix to get this thing back on track.